what they say, like 95% of how we show up is based on our subconscious mind. And we don't even realize like all the
Yeah.
stories we're carrying with us. Well-being, spirituality, and healthy relationships with people and money. And when we focus on those things, that's when we really are truly embracing our most prosperous life.
How does one go about doing this then? How do we talk us through each of those pillars?
Brings you joy. Are you treating yourself? Are you spoiling yourself and doing the things that you love?
Sometimes I used to beat myself up by like, I'm lazy. I'm watching too much TV. Now I realize, no, I need that time off.
Your mind wants you to keep busy because your mind is so used to you always being busy. That's what's
Yeah.
normal. And when you're doing the same thing, your mind feels you're safe. Final pillar of redefining prosperity is healthy relationships with people and money.
Welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert. And today I'm so excited. We have once again the beautiful, the charming, the wonderful Ruchi Pinniger. Welcome, Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Gull. It's so great to be here with you again. And I just need to know, do you say that about every guest?
I choose to have amazing, wonderful people on my guests, but not everyone is called beautiful.
Okay, I'll take it.
Ruchi, thank you so much for joining us again. You had an amazing conversation with you on Friday feature, but we had to have you back today. So once again, please tell everybody in your own words what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So after 20 years in the corporate world, mostly on Wall Street, I left to create this beautiful business I have called Watch Her Prosper. And now I have the gift of helping women to organize their finances and to redefine their financial prosperity.
Absolutely wonderful. And so today we're talking about the 3 pillars of defining prosperity. So talk us through this, Ruchi. What are these 3 pillars?
Yes. So most of us, when we think about prosperity, right, we think about financial success and all the things. But what I've come to realize through my years of experience is that prosperity is so much broader than that.
Yeah.
So what I've done is broken it down into these 3 pillars of redefining prosperity. So it's well-being, spirituality, and healthy relationships with people and money. And when we focus on those things, that's when we really are truly embracing our most prosperous life.
So how does one go about doing this then? How do we talk us through each of those pillars?
I'd love that. Okay, so first is well-being. And I know when we think about well-being, we think of the more traditional eating well, sleeping, exercising. Those are all really important. I just want to reframe a little bit. And all of those will come with what I'm going to talk about. So for me, it's thinking about what brings you joy. Are you treating yourself? Are you spoiling yourself and doing the things that you love? Like for me,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Spoil yourself. Yes, I love that.
Spoil yourself, ladies.
Okay, and gentlemen.
I was going to say, all of you, this is for everyone. I'm sorry. I speak to so many women on stages. So this is for everyone, all of you listening. I love a good bum day. So for me, like sitting in bed in my PJs and binge watching my favorite shows, getting great massages every month. Some of our clients love their, weekly mani-pedi. So just think about what are the things that really, really bring you joy that you love and prioritize those. Budget for them too. And know that it's safe to spend money on yourself. Okay. The other thing is I want you to say no more.
I'm going to come back. I'm going to stop here for a second. I think that's very important what you just said, because I was thinking about it and I went on a tangent in my mind when you said it, because I think I've done that not consciously but unconsciously. Like because I'm on the go, and I have multiple businesses outside in different sectors as well, and I'm still looking to go back into law through law firms. But at the moment I'm in, steel manufacturing, and I'm in, podcasting and in coaching and hotelettes and God knows what, gazillion other things that I got myself stuck in. There are times when I just need to sit down, become a vegetable, and watch my favorite shows. Like I do, and I don't watch much TV, but then I'll binge watch TV. I literally binge watch it, and I've really got into Pakistani dramas recently. So I love. I don't know if those things listening would know, Pakistani dramas are amazing. So I really got into all this Pakistani dramas, and those episodes are like about 25 episodes, about an hour each, and I end up watching that like within 2 or 3 days. Madness, right? And you think, how do I get any work done? But I love what you just said, because at times you need to switch off and give yourself that time to be able to do something like that, so that your mind can recover and stop going on that 100 miles per hour speed, and so forth. And I never really thought about it, but times I used to beat myself up by like, I'm lazy. I'm watching too much TV. Now I realize, no, I need that time off because mentally I need time off. And that's how I got my time off. How is it, how have you found that with your clients? How receptive are they? Because women like you and I who are go, 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 have a hard time switching off and being so-called non-productive, sitting in PJs watching, shows.
Yeah, I think we just really try to encourage it. A lot of times when we're meeting with our clients, it's not just like, what's going on with your money? It's like, what's going on with your life? How are you feeling? Are you breathing like every day? Are you taking deep breaths? Are you taking care of yourself? So we're really talking to them about what they're doing for them. And you have to schedule it. Like you schedule everything else. So many of us have, back to back to back to back to back meetings.
Exactly.
Where's the time for you? Where's the time for you? So it's a conscious choice you have to make. And also, let's just stop judging ourselves, everyone. Okay. Let's just stop. We can be done with that. And I love what you said, Gull, because what you were doing when you're doing your own binge watching, you're listening to your body. You're listening to yourself and what you really need. And that is so honorable.
And I love that. And I think this is what's missing in this hustle culture, especially for those of us who come from corporate backgrounds and are used to doing like 70, 80 hours and then at home, especially if you have kids or families, you're dedicating time to that. So you're 100 something hours of your life is dedicated to other people, other things and work. You have very little time to yourself. And then when you have your own business, you do the same thing. Whereas the whole purpose of having your own business is be able to give yourself the time to be able to do what you need to do or listen to your body. But it's very difficult to switch off and it's very difficult to take that break. And because if I'm not doing something, then I'm not productive. I'm not somehow doing something right. I'm doing something wrong. I'm being lazy. And I'm saying this honestly because I used to have that issue. I don't have it anymore. I used to suffer from that. Oh, I'm being lazy. If I'm watching TV, I'm being lazy. I should be, if I don't want to watch TV, if I'm not working, I should be studying something. I should be reading a book. Right. I should be doing this, which is all well and good. But that also causes you to have a burnout because you're not resting.
That's exactly right. And your mind wants you to keep busy because your mind is so used to you always being busy. That's what's normal. And when you're doing the same thing, your mind feels you're safe, right? Like your mind is actually wired to keep you safe. So if you're not changing and you're just going all the time, your mind is like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. So when you notice that you're starting to get like that, when you're trying to take the time for yourself and you're noticing your mind is trying to take you elsewhere, just notice that that's your mind trying to keep you the same. And it's okay. And just when you realize it, you can kind of adjust.
I remember something else that you just said, which is like spoil yourself, pamper yourself. This is a concept that I learned from my cousin and I love her to bits. She's in California now. And she's the first one who told me that she takes herself out because she got divorced. And when she got divorced, she decided that she was going to pamper herself and she was going to go take herself out on dates, which I thought was an interesting concept at the time. But now I really respect her and love her for that. But she goes, on my birthday, I take myself out. It's like, okay, Aisha, what do you want? What did you like? And I get myself my this and I take myself for a nice lunch. And now I'm thinking, my God, she's so amazing. So well done for her to do that because she does. She really values herself and she looks after herself and it reflects because her life is transformed. I'm doing amazingly well. I'm so proud of her. And she just is getting better day to day because she loved herself at that moment and has been loving herself. And even I got inspired from her. Okay, she goes, you need to treat yourself better. You need to do this more for you. You need to go and take yourself a treat and say, okay, what do I want to eat? Ask yourself like you would a child, what would you like to eat? Would you want ice cream? Do you want this? Or would you want this handbag? Or you just treat yourself. It doesn't have to be expensive, but something that you want to do that you would ask someone that you really loved, what would they like to do? And treat yourself like that. And I thought, my God, she's way ahead of her time. What a wonderful concept.
She sounds like she's amazing, your cousin.
She is okay. Amazing.
And she knows, and she knows everything starts with self-love. If you don't love yourself, if you don't trust yourself, you're not even available to love others and trust others. So, that's a whole nother podcast. I think we could talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful that she's doing that. And, this whole go thing, you're right. We live in a society that values being busy. Like think about, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy. To me, I try to never say that because that is not something I want to be.
Mm.
I am aiming to have more spaciousness and more ease into my life and to teach people to do that. So I really am careful with my words and also with saying no to things that just don't feel good to me.
I mean, let's talk about that now. So, as women, and doesn't matter which background you come from. I found this to be across the board, by the way. You could be from South Asia, you could be from South Berlin, you could be from, I don't know, or any parts of the world. But if you are a capable and an ambitious woman, you also tend to be yes, yes, yes person. You okay, I can do this, I can do it. It's okay, I'll take care of it. It's okay, I can take care of it. How do you learn to say no?
Well, I think you pause, first of all. So, yeah, we are capable of doing everything, not just women, all of us, right? We are capable to do it. That has nothing to do with the answer, though, right? So, first of all, think about what is your intention when you're saying no? Are you saying no because you have FOMO and you don't want to miss something? Are you saying because you have a hard time saying no because you're a people pleaser?
Yeah. And that tends to be the case. Most time it is that.
Many times it is. So if somebody said to me, if you say yes to something that's 6 months down the line, and just because, oh, it's so far away, and I'll just say yes. I want you to think about if that event were tomorrow and you're here now knowing it's tomorrow, how does it feel in your body? Are you like, oh, I don't feel like doing this? Or are you like, oh, I'm so excited for this? And if you feel in your body like, oh, I'm so excited for this, when you think about it being tomorrow, that's a clear yes.
I love that. I love that. I think it's tuning into your higher self, into your intuition, and letting that guide you with your responses rather than what you think you should or shouldn't do. I love that. I love that. Okay, so that's the first pillar. So let's talk about the second pillar now.
Yeah. And I love what you said, because when you open yourself up, when you give yourself space, that's exactly right. You open yourself up to your intuition, to your higher self. It allows you to envision, like, what is it you really want for your life? Yeah. And that will bring us to the second pillar of redefining prosperity, which is spirituality. And spirituality, just to keep it simple, is just knowing that we're here, we're not alone. There is something bigger than us, at play here. And, we're not just like humans running around in our lack and our scarcity, but there's so much more around us. And so some people think about that as source, universe, God, whatever it is that you believe. Yeah. And when you realize that it's not just you, that there's something bigger, then you realize, oh, there's so much possibility. Like, I am fully supported to ask for everything I want, and it is available to me. So even just to uncomplicate spirituality, because I know that's a much bigger conversation for people, just to think about, how do you incorporate that into your life? And I always say, like, the universe is a mirror, and what you put out is what you get back. So you and I have talked about this, Gull. It's like, what are the thoughts you're walking around with every day? Whatever those thoughts are, that's coming back to you. So if you're like, oh, there's not enough time, there's never enough money, that's what you're getting back. You're giving the message to the universe of what you want. So use the words about what you want. Get clear on what it is you want and use that language. So I always like to talk about my RIR method, which is recognize, interrupt, reframe. Okay. So recognize when you're having negative, disempowering thoughts, interrupt it, take a deep breath. And then I want you to reframe it with a more empowering thought. So if you're somebody who's like feeling like there's just never enough money, right? Oh, there's never enough money, I'm always in debt. Reframe that. There's always enough money to pay the bills. I am so grateful for all of my abundance. Just start to use the language of what you want and start to see how that changes what comes back at you.
I love that. I love that. And I'm just going to interject a little bit here. I think people who don't believe in higher purpose or divine being, I think, have a harder time adjusting to the hardships that life throws at you. And every single individual will have their share of hardships. I challenge anybody to say that they haven't suffered it or whatever. I just don't know anybody who won't. It's just that's the nature of life. You will have your tests, some more than others, and some more severe than others. But you will. And I find those people who have belief in something of a higher power come through it stronger, better, and with more dignity, I think, and more refined character, if that's probably more than the dignity. I think the better would be more refined character than those who actually entered it without faith. And it doesn't matter what name tag you give this. I mean, I'm Muslim and I'm proud Muslim, so I say, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I really do believe. I do my prayers, and before coming here, I did my Jummah prayers before I started this interview. But with that, having said that, it doesn't matter what faith you can come to. You can be Buddhist, you could be Christian, you could be Jewish, you could be Hindu. And with Hindu, there's multiple different deities anyway. It doesn't matter what name tag you give this higher power. It's just having the belief in it. Belief that there's something higher being who's keeping an eye on you and who's watching your every move, is supporting you and has got your back, helps you to live such a peaceful life compared to when you have you're stuck with uncertainty. This is going to work out. It's not going to work out. What's going to happen? And I really have to say, and I practice what I preach. There are times when my life is so. I mean, I will eventually write a full autobiography, and that chapter, every chapter will have its own purpose. There are times when there's complete darkness and bleak darkness all around me. I don't know how I'm going to even take the next step. The one thing that's always got me through, and it surprises people around me, like, how are you still standing? I'm like, because of my faith. It's because of my relationship with God. It's beautiful. Because of my unwavering faith that I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. So in Islam, it's called tawakkul. It's because of my tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's my faith in God. I don't know how I'm going to move forward. I don't know what my next step is going to be, but I'm sure when I get there, the way will be made forward for me, and I will find ways through darkness, even though I know where I'm going, because God is with me every step of the way, and He will not leave me alone. It doesn't matter who's with me, who's not, and most of the time, during your trial and tribulations, you are by yourself, by the way. So in that time, nobody's with you, it's God, but God is always with you, and that. I mean, I'm saying God, but you can call universe, you can call divine energy. You can.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, yeah, exactly. Everybody has their own way, and that's what's beautiful. This is meant to be for everyone, and even people who aren't resonating with universe, God, source. How about just your higher self, your more prosperous self? What would your more prosperous self say? It can be that simple, right? Exactly. For those of you that just aren't, everyone gets there when they do, or maybe they don't. But if you're not there, it's all good. Yeah. This isn't about that. This is about, just a higher power, which could be you, your most prosperous self, your next level. What would that person say instead of the language you're using?
Even your subconscious mind. I mean, that's what Dr. Joseph Murphy used to talk about, quite a bit, which is your subconscious mind. It may be that because our conscious mind, which is our awareness, is so limited and so minute or minuscule in comparison to the subconscious mind. It's trusting that your subconscious has your back and will support you every step of the way as long as you trust it. I think that's really, really the most important part that I've learned.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, what they say, like 95% of how we show up is based on our subconscious mind. And we don't even realize like all the stories we're carrying with us. So those of you that are having like thoughts about money, maybe step back and think about, where is this coming from? Yeah. This isn't mine to carry. This may be your parents used to fight about money and you think money's bad. And so now you just don't necessarily want to have a lot of it because you saw what it did. So think about where those stories and where that negative language is coming from. And you can decide if you want to keep that on or not, or you just like, as somebody said to my son, like when you go to the sushi restaurants where the sushi is on the conveyor belts and you pick the wrong tray, you could just put it right back, just like with your thoughts or right with your beliefs. And you get to choose what you want to carry.
Absolutely. 100% of the time. I love that. So then let's go on to our final pillar. So what's the final pillar of prosperity?
Yeah. Okay. The final pillar of redefining prosperity is healthy relationships with people and money. So when you really think about it, like, let's face it, right? Positive people have more positive relationships. So think about who you're spending your time with. What are your relationships based off of? Are they based off complaining or are they based off empowering each other? Are you worried to talk about money when you're around people? whether it's too much or too little that you are judging yourself around, or what is it? How are your relationships? And like, who are you spending your time with when you're being the best version of yourself? So these are just questions for you to really ponder and think about. And then on the money side of things, really, one of the things we love to do at Watch or Prosper is helping people shift their relationship with money. And so that comes with, what's your money mindset? Like, are you, where are you at with your belief system around money and what you deserve? And really thinking about, how does money make you feel? Like, if you think of like money as a person, what happens in your body? Like, money walks into the room, what happens? Do you get anxious? Does your body kind of feel tight? Or are you excited? How does that feel? And then what are your money actions? What are you doing around money? So are you ignoring it? Are you looking at it? Are you ready for tax time? Or are you like, every time April comes around, I don't know what the deadlines are in the UK actually. And I know your listeners.
It's April for us as well.
Right. Okay. And globally, I know there's different rules, but just thinking about during tax time, are you ready for it? Are you scared? Are you running? So just what are you doing? What are your money actions? That you're taking?
I love that. I think this is the key. We really do need to assess our relationships, for all relationships. And I do believe that you can't be friends with anyone. Those who pretend to be friends with everyone or believe themselves to be friends with everyone are friends with no one. You need to have a certain group of friends. I mean, you can be acquaintances, and I suppose my definition of friends is quite high. You can be acquaintances and general friends with people, but your close-knit group who has an influence on your thinking, your understanding, and the way you do life has to be a very defined small circle of people. And you have to choose a circle very, very carefully, because they will influence your thoughts, and that in turn means they're influencing your prosperity, the way you live, the way you show up, the kind of money you make, the amount of money you make, and so forth. I mean, there was a general study that I'm sure you've heard of it, that you are the average of the 5 closest people near you.
Yes.
So that does mean that you have to choose your friends carefully. Now, when I say this, I would, if I look at my life, I have very few people near me, very few, but none of them are at my financial level, I would say, right? Because I've gone on and done, a certain level in my life and whatever, because I'm business minded. My closest friend, one of my closest cousins, she's a housewife. But how do we connect? We connect on a spiritual level. She's very religious, and we connect very, very much on a spiritual level. And she's there. My another cousin of mine, the one in California, she's not religious at all. Completely not. She's very spiritual, but she's positive mindset in terms of go-getter and a complete badass. She's so amazing, absolutely amazing. I love her to bits. And by the way, all these females are very, very strong characters. They reflect that with me. None of them are weak characters. They're very, very strong characters and very, very principled, because we're quite principled. So I would say she's there. She's working in a law firm, but she's not a millionaire either. But she's a very strong character. If I think of somebody else, she's a school teacher. So when I look at my life, if I was to get the average of those 5, it won't come out financially very well. However, you have to go beyond the finances. You have to see the characters. When I think about the people closest to me, every single one of these women are incredibly strong women, incredibly principled, and they have their own set of rules. We may not agree on half the things, by the way. Me and some of my cousins, actually everyone, we all have disagreements. We just agree to disagree. We're like, okay, you're going to have this way, I'm going to think this way. But I respect their beliefs and they respect mine. But I respect them incredibly. And if I look at my life and think, we have a saying in Islam that on the day of judgment, we know when God is going to, on the day of judgment, or day of Qiyamah, you're going to wake up with people who are closest to you. I would be more than happy. I'd be thrilled to wake up with these, 4 or 5 women that I just described. And that's how you need to be. And I've done that through conscious effort. And this is why I described it. Yes, this is a conscious effort. It's not a byproduct. It's not who I end up being close to. I choose to retain my friendship with these women. Doesn't matter if they're cousins or my just friends. I choose to maintain it and build that relationship. And this is what you have to do. You cannot just have a byproduct because, we went to the same school, or we went to the same college, or we're just cousins because my uncle's or my aunt's daughter. It doesn't work that way. You can have 100 people
Beautiful.
who come into your life, but you select the people who are going to add value to your life and help you to be a better person. Financially, I think that you don't have to worry about other people's finances. It's that
Agree.
character that's so crucial that I've become to the point where if I can't respect you as an individual, it doesn't mean that you have to be making money or whatever, but if I don't think you're principled and you don't fall up to the level of what I think you should be as a human being, I can't be friends with you. Which means if you're
Yeah.
backbiting about someone, I'm not going to be friends with you. It's very clearly defined. And I could be seen as a mean, horrible, arrogant person. I don't care. It's letting go of the judgments. I choose my circle. That's the thing, the way you need to be, don't you think so?
That's absolutely right. I was thinking about that the average of the five people as well. But you're right. It's not about the financial level. It's about how you show up. Can you truly be you? Are you sort of pushing yourself back here, or are you being as big and present as you want to be?
And be
right?
celebrated by them.
On the inside.
Them celebrating you.
Exactly. Absolutely. So all of it's a choice, actually, Gull, right? Not just like who you spend your time with. Everything we talked about is a choice, right? The well-being, taking care of yourself, spoiling yourself, that's a choice. The spirituality, watching your thoughts and your languages, that's a choice. Who you spend your time with, what you do with your money, how you handle your money, all of it's a choice. So everyone can choose. How do you want to live really prosperously? You want to live your most prosperous life, or do you choose not to?
Yeah. I think that the one thing that's very clear from this conversation is you get to choose, but most people decide not to choose and live by default, and then have excuses for why their life isn't showing up the way they want it. I think the point that anybody who's listening to this podcast should take from you is choose how you want to have your life, and then follow that choice up by actions.
That's right. And may I add one thing quickly?
Sure.
If we have the time?
Yes, yeah.
I think a lot of us don't have clarity of what we really want. And that's why having that spacious time to really think about it. So for those of you who are really feeling a little bit lost and like, what do I even want to do? Where do I want to be? I sort of invite you to do this exercise. So just schedule some time in your calendar, just cozy up, grab a blanket, light a candle, grab a notebook. And I want to ask you to think about some things. I want you to think about, if it's a year from now, I want you to think about who do you want to be spending your time with? Where do you want to be living? What do you want to be doing? How do you want to be feeling every day? And that's the big one, because your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So many times you just need to be thinking about, how do I want to be feeling every day, and start to feel that. And that will also help you get there. And then I want you to just like reflect on those questions. And I want you to take a moment to write a letter to yourself or to someone, to a loved one, as if it's a year from now, as if it's already happened, and tell them. So what I do every time I do this is I just write it to my mom and I say, "Dear Mom, you won't believe what's happened this year." And I'll write all the things in my vision. So I want you to do that. And then I want you to use that letter or as your vision, as you're deciding what choices you want to make in your life, as you're saying yes to things. Does it align with that vision?
I love that. And I just got goosebumps when you said that, because I never really thought about it. You've lost your mum, and so have I. I lost my mum when I was 22, so a bit later than you did. But I've pretty much have been alone, I would say, since I was 22, since she left. But I never thought of writing a letter to my mom and sharing my vision with her, which I think is such a beautiful thing, because who more will understand my vision and celebrate with me than my mother? And of course, she exists on the spiritual plane for sure. So she absolutely will hear it and will feel it. So I love that. I'm gonna use that myself. Actually, I'm gonna write that letter to my mom and
love it.
share my most prosperous life with her and build my vision with her. So I love that. On that note, we're gonna wrap up. And so now, once again, Ruchi, tell us, where can we find you on the internet? How can we connect with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at watchherprosper. at Watch Her Prosper. You can go to my website, watchherprosper.com. And those of you who want to just dig in a little more to redefining prosperity, you can download my free workbook if you go to iwanttoprosper.com.
Absolutely wonderful. So if you are listening to the podcast, the links for Ruchi will be in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube rather, then down below in the description section, we'll have the links for her to go check her out and see how she can help you. Well, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest, Ruchi. I've had a wonderful time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely to be here with you and with your listeners as well. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for listening to me and Ruchi today on Wednesday's Money Talkies. I will be back with another amazing guest, finding out how you and I can build a better business and build a better life. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.